Hello and welcome back, everyone, to a new episode of Mundo Geopolitica. I'm your host, Ryder. And if you've been following this series so far, well, the only other episode I've posted, but you should already know that geography and demographics are two of the most powerful forces shaping Mexico's place in the world. From its strategic location bridging North and South America to its young, growing population. In the first episode, we unpacked exactly why those factors give Mexico a unique geopolitical edge that most countries can only dream of. Today, in episode 2, we're shifting focus to the actual engine driving that power, Mexico's economy. We're going to break down every major facet, from its size and growth trajectory to the key sectors that keep it running, the critical role of trade and nearshoring, the realities of labor and inequality, and the structural challenges that still stand in the way. At its core, this episode is about something bigger. As the old global order continues to shift, with supply chains being rewritten and major powers rebalancing, Mexico finds itself in a rare position. It has the scale, the location, and the integration to emerge as a serious alternative to China, while steadily building a more autonomous economic destiny on its own terms. But none of that is guaranteed. What makes Mexico different right now is that it sits in exactly the right place at exactly the right moment in history. Like, for the last 40 years, the global economy ran on one simple model: manufacture goods in East Asia, load them onto container ships, and send them across the Pacific to consumers in North America. And that system worked because the world was relatively stable and the oceans were safe. But that system is starting to break down. Rising tensions between the United States and China, growing political risk in global supply chains, and the simple realization that relying on factories 12,000 miles away might not be the smartest idea, have pushed companies to rethink where they produce things. And when companies start rethinking supply chains, geography becomes your best friend. Mexico happens to share a 2,000-mile land border with the largest consumer market in the world. A factory in northern Mexico can put a product on a truck and have it in Texas the same day. From China, that same product has to cross the Pacific Ocean, pass through ports, survive customs bottlenecks, and travel thousands of additional miles by rail or truck. So when companies start pulling production out of Asia, there are only a few places they can realistically go, and Mexico is at the top of that list. Mexico is currently the 13th largest economy in the world, with a nominal GDP of $2.03 trillion according to the latest IMF projections for 2026. This places it ahead of countries like Australia and South Korea, yet in most discussions about nations pursuing greater global influence or reshaping supply chains, Mexico is rarely highlighted. Mexico has about 132 million people, which means its economy isn't just large because of sheer population size. There are countries with far more people that produce far less economic output. Take Indonesia or Pakistan, for example. Both have significantly larger populations than Mexico, yet their economies generate less industrial output per worker. What that tells us is that Mexico isn't simply a large country with a lot of people. It's a country where a significant portion of those people are participating in complex industrial production. Mexico recorded real GDP growth of 0.8% in 2025, as confirmed by the INEGI's final figures, including a strong 0.9% rebound in the fourth quarter. The IMF and the OECD both project growth between 1.4 and 1.5% for 2026, steady but modest. Unemployment stands at a low 2.7%. Inflation has fallen to 3.79% and remains under control, while public debt is a manageable 51% of GDP. Services make up 64% of GDP and remain the largest and most stable part of the economy. Within this sector, tourism delivered another record year in 2025, 47.8 million international visitors and approximately $35 billion in revenue, according to Banxico data. When combined with retail, finance, and logistics, services continue to drive the majority of economic activity and employment, while industry and manufacturing represent 32% and form the core of Mexico's export strength. The automotive and electronics sector are especially prominent, supported by nearshoring that brought in $40.87 billion in foreign direct investment last year. And Mexico ranks as the fifth largest vehicle producer globally. And agriculture contributes roughly 4% but remains strategically important as well, especially for exports of avocados, berries, and coffee that feed major markets in the United States. Primary activities also helped deliver the strongest quarterly rebound in the fourth quarter of 2025. Finally, there is a fourth element that functions almost like a hidden sector: remittances. Mexican workers abroad sent home $61.8 billion in 2025, more than oil exports and foreign investment combined. This steady inflow supports household spending and local economies across the country, even as it fell slightly from the previous year. Trade is heavily oriented toward the United States, which receives about 80% of Mexico's exports under the USMCA framework. Total exports in recent years have approached $680 billion. Foreign direct investment has continued to flow, particularly into manufacturing, despite some external uncertainties. The upcoming 2026 review of USMCA will be an important factor, as any changes to tariffs or rules could influence future performance. In many ways, Mexico functions as an integrated extension of North American production networks. The labor market shows low unemployment and rising minimum wages, yet structural issues persist. Approximately 54% of the workforce operates in the informal economy, according to INEGI. This includes many in construction, agriculture, and small scale services, limiting access to benefits and social protections. Inequality remains notable, with the GINI coefficient around 43.5. Regional differences are clear. The northern states benefit from manufacturing growth, while southern regions continue to face greater challenges. Progress has been made in reducing poverty in some areas through wage increases and remittances, but gaps do persist. All right, so we're not going to sugarcoat here. Growth is slow because domestic investment took a hit from political reforms and uncertainty. Energy is still a weak spot. Pemex is drowning in debt and production is low. Corruption and security issues make logistics tricky in some regions, and that massive informal sector drags productivity down. These challenges are significant, but they are areas where targeted improvements could unlock greater potential. Looking ahead, both the IMF and OECD project real GDP growth of 1.2 to 1.5% in 2026. A young population, continued wage gains, and nearshoring trends offer clear opportunities. Tourism has strong potential for further expansion, and Mexico's proximity to its primary trading partner provides a strategic advantage over more distant competitors. With progress on energy, rule of law, and regional balance, Mexico can strengthen its position as an autonomous economic player. And I think this is a good stopping point. So thank you very much for watching this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you learned something new. And overall, I hope that you took away from this video the impression that Mexico has potential. There are real strengths, there are weaknesses, but overall there's potential. And Mexico is going to become our best friend in the future, mark my words. This is my attempt to spread the word, to get attention on Mexico, to hopefully spur investments, and yeah, let's get this rolling. I'll be making more videos in the future about logistics, geopolitics, and economics. So yeah, stay tuned, and I hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think of the video, and if I should start a Substack or something to create some more engagement with you guys. So you guys can let me know your opinion, and just let me know what kind of content you guys want in the future. So yeah, thank you, and have a nice day.